Kyrie Irving has broken radio silence, and his interview reminded you of a kid that had detention or was taught to put his head down and basically keep your thumb up until you're picked or something like that. He did his whole entire interview, his I guess you call it welcoming back interview, reintegration interview. Basically, his head down like this the whole entire time, answering questions like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm just glad to be back." And I don't know if Kyrie Irving is the new age Sharif Mahmoud Rahim. So I'm sorry if I butcher his name, but you guys remember he got blackballed because he wouldn't stand for the national anthem, or is Kyrie leaning more towards Dennis Rodman aspect? Because on one hand he says like, "Hey, I was out and it was a personal reason, family reasons," and we respect that. Anything with family, people gotta respect it, man. Like people, everybody's family goes through things, and when things happen with your family, they're uncontrollable. But then on the other aspect, we see him partying, dancing, no mask, and so which one is it? Like I guess Jay-Z said it best. Is it Uchi Wally Wally or is it One Night Mike? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's kind of that regard. I guess when the media is looking at Kyrie, like, which one is it? Is it that you had family issues or is it that you were partying and having a good time? And Kyrie really didn't have a good answer, nor did he want to provide an answer. That's one thing that you could really get from this interview was he had no kind of remorse or he felt like he owed no one any answers. One of the reporters asked him, "Hey, what about the fans and the fanatics, the guys that are diehard Nets fans?" And he went to a nice diatribe about, "Hey, I started as a fanatic myself, so I know what they're going through, but then they gotta realize," and then he just kind of veered off, didn't answer the question. Then they asked him about the whole him purchasing George Floyd's family a home, and he said it's a team effort and stuff like that. So the interview was all over the place. Even when they asked him about was he happy with getting James Harden, he didn't seem really like he was all there. So like I said, man, like either Kyrie is a well calculated oil machine, or it's just like he's just disinterested with the business of basketball. And if that is the case, if that's the latter is the case, he really should consider retiring. To me, I wouldn't want him to retire because I feel like he could use the NBA platforms to push his desire and his measures of equality. It's a bigger platform than doing it on your own and not using sponsors and forcing sponsors to really partner with you. But if he feels that adamantly about it, I think he should really check his propensity and desires and try to move into the realm of activism. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the fact that he's leaving guys hanging. And in his interview, he said that he spoke to each one of the guys and let them know what was going on, and he had team support and organizational support. But you kind of find it hard to believe, especially after they pulled the trigger to get James Harden, and they basically had no communication with Kyrie. So I think they just, like most people are saying, they got James Harden as an insurance policy. Now Kyrie was one of the few guys when he came in, he said like, we don't need James Harden. I'm good. I'm right here. So that one in itself, I don't know if it's just like two opposing forces pushing and pulling, and they're all putting on the same united front. Like, we're good with this. This is a good move. But when they ask Kyrie, like, how excited are you to get James Harden? Obviously, James, good player, just very monotone, very like, I'm just here because I don't want to get fined. You know what I'm saying? Like, he reminds you of the person that call out of work all the time and they finally got to come into work and they said, like, today I'm coming in, but I'm just going to do the bare minimum. I don't need this job. Like, that's the kind of aura that he gave off. And then when you think about this too, right? So he got fined the $50K. He lost $2.3 million in the process. Now, here's the thing that kind of kills me. Like, because, money to those guys, people feel like it's nothing. All right, so the money might not be nothing to you, but maybe it's something to those families that you're trying to help. Maybe that $2.3 million that you did not playing, you could have used it to help somebody in your activism process. And I think that's where guys kind of lose the bigger picture. It's like, dog, the money not might mean to you and your bigger picture of things, but hey, man, 2.3 million that could help, 23 families. If you gave 23 families 100,000, that helps them. That helps 23 people out of whatever hole, or helps them get some of their kids in college. That helps the underprivileged, as Kyrie kept mentioning in his interview. One thing though, I have to caution people, and even myself, when you're talking about this Kyrie Irving, him going missing, and not being with the team, there has to be a compassion there for, in terms of mental health, the role of mental health. Now, he mentioned this in his interview. Guys, we don't know what he's going through mentally. We don't. You gotta understand, he's had tragic situations happen to him in his youth, and he's seen things around him that most people don't see in there every day. Mental health is a huge aspect, and chastising Kyrie Irving or critiquing him or criticizing him about some of the decisions that he makes as a young man, instead of trying to bolster him up, help him up, that's very detrimental. And why do I say this? Because guys like Ron Artest, guys like Ben Gordon, they were never talked to about mental health and what that means and how to take care of themselves. So you're in the NBA with millions of dollars, and nobody's really counseling you. Everybody's trying to get something out of you. Your reporters, everybody, your family, they know when you get paid before you do. So the mental health aspect of everything is huge. So if he is really going through something mental health-wise, and people are criticizing him or throwing him under the bus because of stuff that he's doing and maybe in poor taste, I think we need to back off that, because there are guys that, you don't ever know. Guys might want to kill themselves. Michael Irvin, football player for the famous wide receiver. It was Deion Sanders, I believe, trying to commit suicide. Like, you don't know what these people are going through. So, hey, it's good fodder. It's entertaining to find out, where in the world was Kyrie Irving, a.k.a. Carmen Sandiego. You guys remember that when we were kids, used to watch that. But at the same time, if he is going through something mentally and people around him know it, I think they should really try to get him the help or back the media off his ass. Because he's not really saying anything. Nobody's saying anything. And if it comes out 10 years later, man, he was dealing with he lost a child, or he was getting extorted, something bigger, or one of his families got killed up by the police or something like that. We never knew about it. That will be, you'll feel like shit for criticizing him in this moment in time. Hoops Junction, Hoops meets Hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.